This is Ibn Webb, Webb, Quran, and some here doing the Essex County all day edition here of official thanks here. Going back to my alma mater here, before I even get Tyrone up on here, just wanted to say, get well to my man Rod. I know he's fighting, and looking to get better here as far as his condition health wise here. Just want to say, man, my prayers is with you, my well wishes, everything else, man. So, like I said, hopefully you get well. That's grew up together as far as the complex, wound up playing ball together in high school here, same grade, everything here. He's on the receiving end of some touchdowns. I was fortunate enough to get up in the air, play on the same basketball team, ran together a little bit, so like I said, I just hope Rod gets well, man. Again, just fight through it, man. You're a fighter, blessings to Corey too. I know he holding you down, so may Allah bless him as well too, and you too, Rod. So again, hopefully, like I said, you'll pull through this, just stay positive, man. So getting back to Tyrone Mason here. I remember getting to Immaculate, going to Immaculate, and just even before entering those hallways, just hearing different names here. The Fred Givens, the Lance Bostons, the Ben Sermons, the Steve Theobalds, the Rich Kanaz, the Jimmy Goldens, and I'm just talking 80s. I ain't even going way back here. Even prior to that, the Marcus Hapkins, Lou Raciopis, Larry Dobies, females, Rachel Reynolds, Jackie Joneses of the world, yeah, like I said, a lot of people don't walk through those hallways here. Tyrone Mason, was a name I heard a lot, just how he was just terror, as far as he just flat out just got busy here. So it was just one of those names that just, stuck with me while I played or what have you here, when I got there, because I knew him and some of the other names that I did mention. I'm forgetting Lee Mullins, Wes, what's up, Latishas, Kinslers, even the Mark Hardaways and Kelvin Trotters from around my neighborhood who wound up going to Immaculate that I just idolized for a lot of reasons, not only because they went to Immaculate, but they were the big homies growing up. So I'm gonna just stop talking there. I'm gonna get Tyrone on. Like I said, I'm very fortunate enough to have him. So we're gonna get to it and take it from there. Hold tight. And doing well here.
Yeah, everybody's doing well. I mean, I had a rough bout with COVID. I was actually double vaccinated. I was double vaccinated in March, and then I contracted COVID in August. And basically, it was a rough situation because my oxygen level dropped, and I had to be rushed to the hospital because I literally couldn't even walk to the table. You know what I mean? So my wife called the ambulance. And the funny thing about it is that when the ambulance came, it was 3 ambulances, it was 2 fire trucks. So the neighbors must have thought somebody was murdered in the house or something like that. You know what I mean? But, luckily I was in the hospital about a week and a half, and then I was discharged with oxygen, and I was out of work for about 2 months. But luckily, the doctor told me that I was fully vaccinated. And then also I got my booster shot about 2 weeks ago. But other than that, family's doing well. Everybody's doing good. I hope your family's doing well. I hope you're healthy, but it's just, very strange times right now. Very strange times.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, man. And it sounds like you went through it, man. So to just
Oh,
have
yeah.
an opportunity to sit here, just see you and, looking better, probably feeling better, man. Like it's a blessing. And like I said, so I thank you for even, willing to do this. Like I said, I know.
Of course.
Yeah, and before you jumped on, my little intro, I say to myself here, and I just say to you, I ain't even gotta wait to the end, man. I just remember going to Immaculate and getting to Immaculate here. You hear all the names that walk through those hallways, but your name just rung bells, Tyrone. Just rung bells, and and just for me to even sit here and talk to you, like I said, I'm just honored. So I just wanted to say that, like I said, you was the one name like that synonymous with just not only immaculate but just flat out just an athlete and just doing your thing here, man. So I knew the bar was high. So I'll probably say it again, but I wanted to make sure I at least started off just sharing that.
Of course, man. I'm humbled, to have for you to have me on, because I look at the work you're doing. I look at the great interviews you have and the great people that you do have. So I'm definitely humbled for you to actually take the time out to talk to me. So, I'm definitely looking forward to it.
Cool, cool. Eventually, we're gonna take that humble hat off before we all said it done too.
Oh, of course, of course.
We gonna push that humble pie to the side.
Oh yeah, of course, of course. You know.
Yeah. Well, even all that said, though, this journey called life, man. Where did it start at for you?
Well, basically for me, you know, I grew up in Newark. I grew up off of Weston Avenue in Newark, Weston and South Orange, Vellsburg area.
Ellsberg, yeah.
So basically, I went to Blessed Sacrament School from second grade through graduated eighth grade. So I went to Blessed Sacrament. I actually went to Alexander Street School for first grade, but it was rough, you know. So my parents decided to, you know, put me into a Catholic school, which I'm glad is the best thing that they've ever done. And when I went to school with, you know, a great group, you know, almost like a great family. You know, everybody knew each other. Everybody got along real well. You know, I wasn't fortunate enough to play Pop Warner football because what happened was coming to Pop Warner, I weighed too much, you know? So every time when I go to weigh in, you know, I weighed too much, but I actually played in Elmwood Park. I played for the Simbas in Elmwood Park, you know, back in the day. So what I used to do for 2 years, I literally practiced every single day, but I could never suit up for the games. So I just practiced all week, never suit up for the games. But, you know, by the time I got to high school, I mean, I was hungry. You know what I'm saying? 2 years of practicing, no playing, I was hungry. I was hungry.
Yeah, now you the only child?
No, I have a brother and a sister, so I was a middle child.
Okay.
My mom worked in New York at French American Bank. She was a bank executive. My dad was a police officer in Newark. He was also a police detective. So, you know, I'm one of three, you know, middle child. I'm married now. I have 4 kids. All 4 of my kids now have grandkids. Excuse me, I have kids. So I have 4.
Whoa, don't you ain't that old yet?
Yeah. I have 4 grandkids. You know, I have 4 grandkids. I have another one on the way. So I'm very blessed when it does come to that. But everybody's healthy. Everybody's good. You know, everybody's good.
Nah, good stuff. And I know you mentioned, you know, not playing Little League because of the weight requirements, but just even around the way, like, it was football the only thing you gravitated to? Was it other activities or anything that you got into?
Well, basically, I played Little League baseball at the West Ward in Vellsburg Park. I was horrible. I mean, I couldn't hit a curveball, you know? So, you know, basically I played because all my friends played. So I was terrible at that. Also, when I was in grammar school, the first sport I actually played organized, I actually ran track. I know you're probably familiar with Marvin Hawkins. He's a legendary coach at Irvington High School. He's still coaching in now. So Mr. Hawkins said, you know, I was always a big guy, but I was always fast. So Mr. Hawkins had me running track in grammar school. I was running in the Armory in Jersey City for different meets and stuff like that. You know, I thought I was going to die, you know, you're handing off the baton and stuff like that. But the first thing I actually did, I actually ran track.
Okay. So your relay, you were single individual events did you do?
Oh, I did the 60. You know, don't ask me, you know, what my time was.
Nah, I'll leave it alone.
Yeah, I can't remember. But also I did the relays also. I'm not sure which relays it was, but it was almost like I felt like the race would never end. You know what I mean? But you know, that me running track really helped me when it came to football. Only because what happened was even in my freshman year in Immaculate, I also ran track. I ran a 60-yard dash my freshman year in Immaculate. So, you know how Coach Finn is, you know, he'll have you doing everything. So, you know, I actually ran track also my freshman year. I threw the shot put, I do the discus, I do the javelin. So, you know, yep.
That even before getting to Immaculate to make the decision to high school, I mean, obviously living in North, and I know Immaculate tracks from all different places, but that's still a bus or 2 ride away from where you at. So how did you decide to go there? Or was it something else you was considering?
Well, basically what happened was most of all my friends went to Essex Catholic. Okay, because a lot of my friends went to Essex, or if not, they basically went to Seton Hall. My brother went to St. Benedict's. You know, I went to St. Benedict's to visit, but you know, St. Benedict's didn't have girls, number one, and St. Benedict's didn't have a football team, so that was a no bueno. You know, so that was out. And then after that, a lot of my friends went to Essex. So I was talking to Jimmy Golden, and I was also talking to Willie Taylor. And those are the two people that really kind of convinced me, to go up to Immaculate, because it wasn't too many people from my neighborhood who went to Immaculate. Most people went to Essex or they went to Seton Hall. But, I went to Immaculate, and, it was, when you say it was a bus ride, man, I mean, from Newark, from Wellsburg to Montclair, I mean, you literally had to take 3 buses, to get to school every day. So that was definitely a hike.
Mm-hmm. Just living out there, and again, like I said, obviously it's knowing the distance. I know. Yeah, you spend a lot of time on New Jersey Transit.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. I mean, between the 3 buses, and you always had to get up on time. You can't miss a bus, But definitely me choosing to go to Immaculate was definitely, without a doubt, one of the best decisions I've ever made.
And you get there. So when you get there, obviously you mentioned football. So you obviously you play right away. I mean, are you playing varsity freshman year, or are you just
when I went to Immaculate my freshman year, we had a varsity team, and we also had a freshman team. So what they used to do every single day, or not every day, I would say maybe Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursdays, they used to bring the freshmen up to practice with the varsity. Okay, so even matter of fact, I remember even before I went to high school my first year, Immaculate had a football camp. So that was an opportunity for me to go up to the football camp, take a look and see the guys there who were playing varsity and this and that. And like I said, I mean, I came in hungry, so basically Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursdays, they brought us up to varsity to practice and hit, with the varsity team. And as a freshman, I didn't know stop. I didn't know slow down. So I always went up there and I went up full tilt, so I thought I had a chance to start as a freshman at Immaculate. I actually started varsity as a sophomore, but every single practice, we were literally going up there, and we were going up against the Merlin Hackett's and the Kevin Williams, and going up against Box and, guys like that. So, I mean, that was a great experience back then. I mean, we were butting heads, but the freshman guys we had, we didn't quit. We didn't back down. I mean, we were taking it to them, and they were like, they want us to slow down, but I mean, we didn't know slow down, you know?
Because you trying to get where they at, or you want their spot.
Exactly. Yeah. And then I remember my freshman year, Thanksgiving Day, I suited up against Glen Ridge. I didn't get to play. I was on the sidelines the whole time, but you just felt like, it felt like it was like 50,000 people out there, and you were basically just sitting there, just soaking it in. And then after that, I knew next year, hey, I'm going to be out there starting.
Before you even get to sophomore year, though, so do you play anything else? I hear a little story. You play some basketball.
Oh yeah, I played I played basketball my freshman and my sophomore year in high school. I also did indoor and outdoor track all 3 years. I did indoor and outdoor track. But my freshman and sophomore year, I played basketball. But basketball, I was more like the enforcer. You know what I mean? It was like, all right, we playing Whippany. You know what I mean? We lost the Whippany or whatever. So I would be going out there just banging, being physical, just getting rebounds, and almost like a mini Rick Mahorn out there. You know what I'm saying? Because that was the area that I grew up in. So believe me, when I got them 5 fouls, I used up my 5 fouls. I got my fouls worth. Especially playing like the Cedar Groves and stuff like that. Whoever we played in football, that was a rivalry. I mean, those fouls were coming. They were coming.
Now, it was Coach Ryan, I believe, right? That you called basketball. Was he a JV coach or?
I think back in the day it was Coach Ryan. I can't remember the coach name, but I mean, basketball was good only because before Coach Fenn took me from basketball to track, basketball was a good way to keep you in shape. And I remember, Thanksgiving was over Thursday, and then that next Monday we were in the gym doing gassers. You know what I mean? So basketball was always a way to keep you in good shape, after football season was over. And then after that, Coach Fenn, actually my sophomore year, I didn't play much in basketball because, I was out with Coach Fenn and I was lifting and, I was doing track and doing the shot put and things like that.
Yeah. Now, Coach Rassiopi, he was there your freshman year or?
Oh, yeah. Coach Lou was there my freshman, sophomore, and senior year. And I remember, I think Coach Lou and Coach Fenn are two of the greatest coaches, without a doubt, that I ever had. They were stern, but they were fair.
Yes.
And the worst thing with Coach Lou was I had him for English on Monday morning.
That's right.
So I mean, yeah. So if you lost that game on Saturday, you would come in that English room on Monday. Coach Lou would have his feet on the desk. He'll have that paper out. He'll have that assignment on the board. He didn't talk to you the whole class. You know what I'm saying? And he just sat there with them red cheeks. And then you knew come practice time, you were going to get it on. Yeah. And I remember, we had 700 Club. I mean, we ran. I mean, that 700 Club was, you know what 700 Club is, right? Between
the hundreds, right? Is that?
Yeah, you're doing hundreds. You were doing a crab, and you were doing all this and that. So I had Coach Lou. He was coach freshman, sophomore, senior year when I was at Immaculate. My freshman year, we had Coach Kiernan. He was our freshman football coach.
We got to ask which one. It's 100 of them.
Oh, it was
Coach Tom. Was it Coach Tom?
Coach Tom. Whoo, man! I remember freshman year we played Whippany Park, and we probably got beat by 30-some points to Whippany Park. And then Coach Kiernan came over. He said, "Let's go, line it up. Let's start stretching." And we looked around. He said, "You know what? We're gonna start having practice," because he was like, "You guys embarrassed me. Yeah. I got my family here in the stands. We got blown out." So we literally started to stretch. We literally were going up to hit the sled. And then after that, Coach Lou came over and said, hey, don't do it here. There's too many parents here right now. Don't do it here. And basically, we'll take care of them on Monday. And come Monday, you knew what was going to happen, Coach. Come Monday. I mean, we were in for it come Monday.
Nah, I remember Coach Tom, great guy.
Oh, yeah. Great guy.
They ain't play, though. He ain't play.
No, I mean, see, it's different. Ed, when we were growing up, I mean, we had triple sessions, you know what I mean? And not only did we have triple sessions, a lot of times, 2 of the sessions, we probably had pads on. We were lucky to even get a water break, things like that. The last thing you ever asked for, was water. So we just grew up in a different time. We grew up in a different era. I wouldn't change it for anything. But yeah, between Coach Kiernan, and then after that, I had Coach Lou for 3 years, varsity my sophomore and junior year. And then my senior year, I had Coach Fenn.
Okay. So that sophomore year, obviously, it's your time. You're starting. So, I mean, how exciting. I mean, what was that time like for you?
I mean, it was the most exciting time ever because, to be a sophomore starting varsity, going up against the big boys. And the thing about it is that now, I'm not criticizing the schedule or the teams that they play now. But when I was at Immaculate, we played against Bailey Elliott, we played against Whippany Park, we played against Mendham, we played against Mountain Lake, Cedar Grove. So we played, Group 3, Group 4, Group 2, Group 1. We played all different, groups of schools. So basically back then, if you lost 2 games, you lost 3 games, you're out of the playoffs, But I remember my sophomore year, my biggest thing is that I wanted to get stronger. Okay. And not only I want to get stronger, I just wanted, just take advantage of the situation. But I remember Coach Lou, against Chatham, I was starting defensive tackle. Coach Lou pulled me to the sidelines about maybe the second play of the game. And then after that, he wasn't happy with my hustle or something I did or whatever. He literally sat me on the sidelines the rest of the game. And I literally cried. I mean, when I say cried, I just sat there and boo-hooed. But I think him doing that literally changed me as a player at Immaculate. Because it just shows you, no matter how talented you were or the talent you had, you still had to work hard. You still had to produce and what have you.
Mm-hmm. Nah, it make a difference. Who you are. You acting up, you're not playing well or what. Yeah. Nah, you go take a seat right next to him.
Yep. Oh yeah. If you messed up or you missed your assignment, you were loafing, whatever. I mean, they didn't have a problem pulling you off the field, regardless who you are. But I really think that my sophomore year in high school, I started varsity. I was all conference honorable mention, and then after that, going into my junior year, that's when I knew what I had to do. I was hitting the weight room. I was training, I was running, I was getting in good shape and everything like that. I think my junior year, I came in the best shape I've ever was in. I made first team all county my junior year. I made first team all conference my junior year. I think I had like maybe, like 12 to 14, 15 sacks or something like that my junior year. So yeah, I mean, that whole sophomore year basically set the table for my junior and senior year at Immaculate.
Interesting you say that. And how was your summers? I mean, I know you mentioned working out. Like, did you ever do like any of those like football camps? You know how camps was like crazy back then.
Oh yeah, I mean,
now.
Yeah, I mean, back in the day, we really didn't have football camps like that. I mean, back in the day, it was basically me and Jimmy Golden. He lived in East Orange. I lived in Newark. We literally lived like, 2 blocks from each other. So we were basically catching the buses, either going up to Immaculate and then working out at, Cody Field, running and stuff like that. Because we, even as a freshman, we went up there, we worked out with the varsity. Or with me living in Newark, in Velsburg, there was a Gold's Gym in Ivy Hill. Okay. So basically, I used to sneak in and stuff like that, and I used to go in because I met the owner, and I just started going there and just basically started working out. But basically, we would either work out at the Y. Remember how Coach Finn always had us up at the Y working out, with those crazy weights up there. But basically after that, I just started, just basically working on my, just getting stronger. Just getting bigger, just getting stronger. That was my biggest thing.
Now, did you play offense at all? You just played D tackle?
I played offensive guard. Okay. I also played a little offensive tackle, and I also played nose tackle on defense. I mean, I wasn't a biggest fan of offense, only because I was more of a hunt type of dude. But I do know, since I was one of the biggest guys, they needed me on the offensive line. So, again, I played offensive line. I think I did pretty well, and, just try to excel and just help us to win, So, I mean, at Immaculate, you get used to going both ways, So, I mean, that's something that you have to do. But I play offensive guard, I play offensive tackle, and I play nose tackle on defense.
Now, you mentioned even being obviously from Newark, some people going to Seton Hall, some going to Essex, and then even those that's right there, well as Velsburg or some of the Newark schools. You catch any flack because of some of the teams Immaculate played?
Oh yeah. I mean, you hear that from all the time about where's Immaculate, and it's more of a girls' school and this and that. But I mean, you hear that all the time. But I didn't really look at it that way. I was looking at it as I was getting a great opportunity, and I look at it is that I could have went to any of those schools, Essex. I could have went to Seton Hall. I could have went to, some of those larger schools in Newark. And without a doubt, I know I could have started there and produced, just jumping ahead a little bit. Then I jumped back. My senior year, I played in the North-South game at Rutgers. I was able to start in the North-South game. So I played against the boys from Nutley or, Bloomfield, Montclair, and, I started, at nose tackle. So I was able to really prove myself that, hey, regardless of where I'm from, what size I am or what school I'm at, it all comes down to ability and heart,
And interesting you mentioned the North-South game. I remember the picture, they kept pictures, I don't know whether it was in the field house or at the school. So I do remember one of the pictures that you have from that game. Like I said, you'd be surprised with little things, as you mentioned, things come back. But I remember that picture they had with you, action picture with you from that game as well too. So I mean, like I said, that was a perfect opportunity to kind of stamp like what you did and how busy you got here. And you mentioned Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. No, I was going to say, my apologies. I was going to say, playing in North-South game to me was almost an opportunity to prove yourself. Because when you went there, you were from Immaculate, you were from a smaller school. Literally everybody there all had D1 scholarships. I became best friends with players who played in that game, who even went on, to play in the pros. And so that was definitely a great learning experience for me. You stayed on campus at Rutgers for that week. The camaraderie and stuff like that. But it was definitely a proving ground, because when you went to that practice, no one had a starting position. Right. You know what I mean? So you had to go there and you had to earn your stripes.
And before to kind of just jump back real quick, and we'll talk about that as some more in a second. But even the whole going into your junior year, I mean, obviously some people leave as far as teammates or what have you, graduate, move on. But You kind of sense it was your time?
Oh yeah, basically my sophomore year, I was basically just trying to find my way around. I
Mhm.
was basically just using all natural ability. But
Okay.
come my junior year, that's when I knew, hit the weight room, watch what you eat, diet, train. I knew about, rip moves, swim moves, push and pull, So basically, sophomore year, freshman year, I was literally running around with a chicken with my head cut off because I was basically using just ability. But
Okay.
then come junior, senior year, that's when you put all the pieces together between what you learn in the weight room, but also the different techniques and the different skills. So my jump from freshman, sophomore to junior and senior year was a dramatic jump as far as my ability.
Yeah, and then team wise, you guys were successful. You guys was
Oh
winning.
yeah.
Yeah, because
Mhm.
you had it was like Donald and I know Corey and
Yeah.
all those guys, right?
I played with Donald. I played with Corey, Randy, Alex, Joe DeVivo was quarterback. We were never a big team, you know what I mean? But like I said before, we were playing, the Cedar Groves, we were playing the Whippany Parks, we were playing, schools like that. Basically, I think my junior year and senior year, we might have lost maybe 3 games or something like that, both years. But because of that, back then you wouldn't qualify for the playoffs. But we had a good team. We had a good team. We had a tight team. We had a family-oriented team. We would play hard during the games. We would play even harder after the games.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? It was almost always like Saturday Night Fever. You,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? You play hard after the games. It was funny. Even the night before the games, we even stayed at each other's house. You know what I mean? So all of us, like 5, 6, 7 of us, we would stay at each other's house. Randy's house in Montclair was the hangout spot. So then after that, that next day we would all, get up and go to the game. And then after the game, win or lose, we was like, what we doing tonight? You know what I mean? And then we were all hanging out and, partying and have a good time. And it was almost like college and high school, back in the
Yeah.
day, and then after that, come Monday, you getting back to the classroom.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The college even like junior year, any of that stuff start, you start thinking about some of that stuff because you
Oh,
just
yeah.
remember. I'm sure you had like shoe
Mhm.
boxes,
Oh, yeah.
crazy full of
Oh,
letters.
yeah. That's when my junior year, after I finished my junior year, that's when, every time I got a letter from the colleges, Coach Lou would always call me down to the office and he would give me my letters, or I would have, college coaches to come by and, talk to me and stuff like that. The only problem that I had was that I was kind of in a pickle. When I say in a pickle, I was 5'9",
Mm-hmm.
playing defensive tackle. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? It's not too many people who are 5'9", going to D1 schools or what have you. But I got the letters, I got the contacts. The coaches came by and visit. Also, I had the stats, when they turn on the film and things like that. The only situation with me that I was 5'9", I call myself 5'9 3/4, playing a defensive line.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I know obviously letters start coming, coaches, and obviously senior year come.
Mm-hmm.
Something that a lot of us Jersey boys back then, we opened the Star Ledger up, the
Oh
sports
yeah.
page. I
Mm-hmm.
believe it was either every Tuesday or Wednesday or
Mm-hmm.
third, one day out of the week. I can't
Right.
remember.
Mm-hmm.
You get honored with boy athlete of the week. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
this is a statewide thing. Like only a select few has ever
Mm-hmm.
gotten like in any sport. What was just that whole like? How did that? Was that the Mountain Lakes game? Was it?
Yeah.
I don't, the results to that. Like, how did
Yeah,
this
that
all go
that
down?
that was actually the Mountain Lakes game.
Okay.
I remember the reporter came to Immaculate, and he interviewed me in the coach's office. But that was a Mountain Lakes game. I think Mountain Lakes we won maybe 12-7, and I think I was running the ball back then. I had a rushing touchdown. I had a block punt for a touchdown, and then also I think I had maybe like 3 or 4 sacks and 10 tackles or whatever, but I was boy athlete of the week. And to me, that was a big honor
Oh
because
yeah.
normally when you have boy athlete of the week, you have people from the Montclairs, the Bloomfields, the Passaics and things like that, as boy athlete of the week. So to me, that was a great honor, but that always just kept me real hungry. It just kept me hungry. It really kept me hungry. And then, I used to always be interviewed by, Steve Tober, and things like that. A lot of, articles used to come out like in the Montclair Times and stuff like that. But I think definitely the Boy Athlete of the Week was definitely one of the greatest achievements I've had. Because that to me, that was pretty cool.
And like I said, that's statewide, and it's only
Mm-hmm.
one person that gets it every week.
Yep.
And it was no obviously it was no glory position you played, you know what I mean? And I think
Oh yeah.
that's what makes it even sweeter.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't no quarterback, no running back or somebody, you know what I mean? It was a D tackle who just did his thing here. Like I said,
Mm-hmm.
for me to even just before even going to America, but just hearing about stuff like that, man, I was like, it's like wow, like you were like immortal to us. I mean, to me,
Mm-hmm.
I'll speak for myself, but just to even hear some of that stuff here, and how was the rest of your week? Like, did you attend school the rest of the week, or you didn't
Oh,
act
oh,
up or that? Did you?
oh no, 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 no,
Okay,
no. I attend to school the rest of the week, but
okay,
I know, going to the next game, we play Whippany.
okay.
And after that Boy Athlete of the Week, Whippany, they knew even more about Tyrone. And that's
Hmm.
when Coach I saw your interview with Coach Finn. Oh, no, excuse me, Coach Fest. And Coach
Yes.
Fest was talking about Whippany. I mean,
Hmm.
we had a bench playing brawl against Whippany when we played Whippany. I mean,
Yeah.
that was, when I say, I mean, that was a malice in the palace, type of brawl against Whippany. But yeah, I mean, but after that, I mean, you have like a little bullseye on your chest.
Mhm.
You have, offensive linemen, talking a little smack to you and this and that. But, I just took it in stride,
Mhm.
because I was the type of person that, I want to be the first one to get off the bus. You know what I
Okay.
mean? I want to be the first one to come out that locker room. I want to be, that type of person that leads by example, when
Mhm.
it does come to our team. So I just took it in stride. And I looked at it as it wasn't only an award for me, but it was an award for our whole defense. But it was also an award for a little immaculate because it was good publicity for immaculate.
Nah, absolutely, absolutely.
Mhm.
How'd you do with them triple, double, triple teams moving forward?
Man, I mean, I've been getting double and triple teams since my sophomore year. Because I played nose tackle sophomore, junior, and senior year. So the thing about it is that you beat the center, you got the guard coming down, and
Yeah.
then back in the day, I mean, you got the fullback chipping. So what I
Mhm.
used to do is, like I said, I worked on getting stronger, I worked on getting faster, I worked on, my first step, off the ball. So I think my benefit was I was quick always, that first step off the ball. And to me, that was my biggest benefit. But I mean, it's rough. I mean, it's rough, playing nose tackle. And I mean, you know how it is. It's rough in the middle, But I wouldn't have it any other way. No other
Nah,
way.
nah, definitely. And I know you eventually had to graduate, but before graduating, I mean, we talked a little bit. You mentioned some of the college stuff early, but
Mhm.
how was the rest of the process and ultimately deciding where you was going to go?
I mean, the rest of the process, just to jump back a little bit, I remember my going into my senior year.
Hmm.
It was about maybe six of us. We went down to the University of Maryland for football camp,
Okay.
and I still remember we were at football camp at the University of Maryland, and then that's when everybody's started getting either phone calls or contacted by their parents because we were told that Coach Lou was leaving. So
Yeah.
basically we learned about that at football camp. And you talk about seven guys sitting there. I mean, we were crying like a baby, with losing Coach Lou because we're like a family. But then after that, we found out that Coach Fenn was going to be the coach, and that made things a little bit easier. But going to the football camp at the University of Maryland was good exposure because they timed you in the 40. You did the bench press, you did your agilities and stuff like that. You had guys there from Camden High School and everything like that. I mean, you literally had talent from all over the country. So you actually had a real good opportunity to judge where you were as a football player. And then after that, going to my senior year, then after that, it was just go time.
Okay.
But what happened was I still remember coming down to the National Signing Day, which I think was in April or whenever, National Signing Day. I had a full ride offer from Johnson C. Smith University in Charlotte. And then I had a couple opportunities from 3 or 4 D1 schools, not for scholarships, but as an invited walk-on. You know,
Okay.
so
What do
basically
they
I
call
had
that? Like a preferred walk on
yeah,
now?
yeah,
That call
exactly. Yeah,
that?
like a
Okay.
preferred walk on. So basically, as a preferred walk on, you know, you can go to a D1 school. You're going to make the team, but you're going to go in as a walk on or what have you. So basically, I decided to go to Johnson C. Smith in Charlotte. I got a full. It was HBCU. I got a full ride, and then after that, I played in the North South game
Mm-hmm.
in Rutgers. I had a real good game North South. I had maybe 2 sacks and 3 or 4 tackles or what have you. And then after that, I had a couple Division I people who came to me with an actual offer. But what happened was in a North South game, a lot of people don't know this, but I tore my knee in a
Ooh.
North South game. I tore my medial meniscus, so I had a 25% tear in my right knee. So
Mm-hmm.
basically, once colleges found out about that,
Oh yeah.
it was a no go. But Johnson C. Smith honored their scholarship, and I went down there for a full ride. I stayed down there for my first year. I
Mm-hmm.
started about maybe 2 or 3 games, but nothing against the school, but between the facilities and this and that, it just wasn't what I expected to be or what have you. And
Mm-hmm.
I was in contact with McKinley Boston, Lance's father.
Mm-hmm.
McKinley Boston was the athletic director at Kane, in
Mm-hmm.
which I had an opportunity to come back and either go to Kane. I had an opportunity to go to Montclair State. I mean, any Division III school I could have went to, but I wound up going to Kane University only because I knew McKinley Boston. I mean, I saw him every week at the games, and I knew him like almost like a father, And then I went to Kane University, started there for 3 years, made first team all conference, at Kane for 3 years, and the rest is history.
Yeah, you mentioned the Johnson C. Smith, but just going
Mhm.
down, and before you even go, like, how are your parents, everybody doing all this time with the
Right,
football? So these
right.
like, just how were they? I mean, I'm sure it was an exciting time for them
Oh,
as
oh yeah,
well.
oh yeah. It was very exciting because only thing was is that any Division III school, I could have literally went to any Division III school in the country. Division II schools, I had some partial scholarships and things like that. But as far as Johnson C. Smith, I mean, it was exciting. I went down there to visit, and, and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I went down there to visit, and it was almost like taking a baby calf, out of the farm for the first time, and you're on a college campus by yourself, and you got the football players taking you around, taking you to the parties, and introducing here and this and that, and man, that was a weekend, But I mean, it was a good time, I mean, how it is at HBCUs, it was a good time, but
Mhm.
it was a great experience for me. I don't regret my decision, to go there. I honestly, Ib, just to let you know, I think that when it came time for me to select the college I was going to, I should have been a lot more patient. You know what I
Okay.
mean? Because I think my head was a little bit bigger than it should have been. Because, when you're 5'9" at D tackle, even though I made, all state and things like that my senior year and the North South, the whole thing, but college is going to be more selective. So they're going to take the guys they want first, and then they're going to come back and take the other guys. You know what I mean? So what I should have done, I should have been a little more patient. I should have waited a little bit longer, and then I could have possibly had that D1, that D2 scholarship. But I was impatient. I wanted to sign on National Signing Day. I wanted to, get it done and over with. But I definitely should have been a lot more patient.
Interesting. You mentioned that process as far as lacking the patience. To
Mm-hmm.
like doing this, I kind of see some themes that just from as a lot of people here, like there was no one else that kind of before them or around them that went through the college process. As
Mm-hmm.
far as whatever sport it was, as far as just someone maybe tapping you on your shoulder, like, yo,
Right.
Tyrone, chill, like, let's
Right.
see, yeah, like, a
Mm-hmm.
lot of. So I think now, again, I think from you and everybody else here, I think just having that knowledge to help others,
Mm-hmm.
because again, a lot of people didn't have like those
Right.
people who, whether it was college or some people later on in the pros, just didn't have that,
Mm-hmm.
that kind of mentorship or just kind of like,
Mm-hmm.
hey, this is the process. This is, I mean, see things
Mm-hmm.
through. And to your point here, like I said, you go down for a visit, you having a blast,
Mm-hmm.
everything. There's a lot of
Right.
other stuff here. So nah, and
Right.
being 17, 18 years old, like we ain't grown up yet. You know what I
Right.
mean? So yeah,
Mhm.
so little things we just be impressionable and like, you
Right.
know
Oh
what?
yeah.
I'm going there. Yeah.
I mean, I think the biggest thing that I learned, and I think the biggest thing, hopefully, a lot of people take away from me, is that it's a very overwhelming process. You have a lot of people pulling and tugging, from a lot of different directions. And like you said, I wish that I had that person who said to me, "Slow down, let's take a look and see. You don't need to sign, day one or what have you, because." And then, just take your time and go through the process, and I think that, I don't regret my decision, what I did, but I think that if I had time to slow down the process, take a look at the picture a little bit more, I think I would have definitely made a more, I think I would have made a better decision, for me. Only because, I had coaches coming to, I had coaches coming to the school all the time. I had coaches in the stands coming after practice all the time. I would talk to coaches and stuff after games all the time. But actually, I just think that I kind of rushed the process too much. And I think I should have slowed down the process a little bit.
Yeah. Now, again, to your point here, lesson learned, but stuff I'm sure
Mhm.
throughout the years been able to share with other kids because
Oh, yeah.
from coaching my own kids
Mhm.
to just people in the neighborhood. So be
Right.
able to share that experience. I mean, again, just so
Mhm.
somebody else can take heed and
Right.
be mindful when we're making their decisions here.
Oh yeah, I mean, I tell kids all the time, if I have a chance to, talk to kids just about life or just talk to kids in general about life lessons, I always tell them, you have to take your time, don't rush the process. You have to do what's best for you, what's best for your family. The one great thing about going to a school like Johnson C. Smith and getting a full scholarship, I knew that it wouldn't be no cost for my parents,
Right. Right.
for me to attend school, so I mean, you just have a lot of stuff, it just weighs on you. But I don't regret my decision, but if I had to do it over again, I would definitely slow down the process, take a little time, even if it had to be 2 or 3 weeks later. I mean, that's what I basically should have done.
Yeah, especially now, look, kids getting paid to go
Oh
now.
yeah, oh yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
look at all these kids now and these endorsements, and kids haven't even played college football yet, and they get these 6, 7 figure endorsements. It's a whole different game now.
Yeah. Then you get the king now. That conference is just historically just been great. You figure
Oh yeah,
you got transfers coming from D1 to
right.
wherever, but still
Mm-hmm.
got those that fell slipped through the cracks and ended up whether it's King Montclair State. Back then it was
Mm-hmm.
Glastonbury. I know it was
Right.
Rowan,
Mm-hmm.
but who I'm missing? Jersey City, Trenton State.
Right.
I mean, very competitive.
Oh yeah, I mean, when I went to Kane my first year, even all the 3 years I was there, I mean, we had guys like one guy, his last name was Bond. He transferred from the University of Miami. I mean, we had guys who transferred from Rutgers. I mean, we had, people. I would say probably, at least a third of our team were people who had Division I scholarships who were playing in that conference. And you look back in the day, like a Montclair State. I mean, they averaged like 315 across the board. They offensive line. So that conference back in the day, you had so many people in there who transferred from Division I schools for whatever reason that didn't work out. So yeah, it was definitely a very very competitive conference, very competitive.
Now you get there again. Sounds like, but you just keep going as far as hard work ethic and like
Oh
you mentioned,
yeah.
playing what
Mhm.
have you. I mean, how fun was it for you being that king?
Mhm.
I said, how fun was it for
Oh,
you
I mean,
being that king?
it was a great time. I mean, I was only 15 minutes from home.
Mhm.
But I still stayed on campus. My parents were able to come and attend all of my football games. They came to all my home games. They also came to all of my away games. Came as far as the facilities. I mean, the facilities were top notch. I mean, some of their facilities were actually comparable to D1 universities. So, perfect example, when I tore up my knee my freshman year at Johnson C. Smith, I literally played or started 4 games, but I knew I shouldn't have played because of the condition of my knee.
Mhm.
But when I got to Kane, I was able to do rehab. I was able to do proper rehab. They were able to send me to specialists and this and that. They had me in a pool and stuff like that. So I was able to rehab my knee. But the best part about it was my parents were able to see me to play. I was able to play very competitive football. I was able to start, but again, it was basically just starting over. You go in, you hit the weight room, you train, and we were doing yoga and the whole thing. But it was fun. It was a great time. It was very competitive football. Playing with guys, who went to D1 and D1 didn't work out for them. So without a doubt, it was a real good time.
Yeah. Did you see the business side of it? I mean, even whether Johnson or whether
Oh,
see the
oh yeah.
business side of the football?
Of course, because one thing that a lot of people don't know, that especially, I'll give an example, when you travel, okay? A lot of times when you travel and you play away games, a lot of time colleges will bring, like, say for instance, if you're going to a certain state or you plan to in a certain state, and that or they're trying to recruit people from that area. So what they would do, some people would stay home, but then some of the people that they were trying to recruit from that state, they would bring those players and stuff like that to that game. So that way the people they're recruiting can see, hey, you know what? This guy went to the school and he's playing and he's on the field and stuff like that. But oh yeah, you're able to see the business side. But what you have to do is you can't really get too into that. You just have to kind of put your blinders on and focus about as far as what you need to do. But luckily I had McKinley Boston, Mr. Boston, with me at Kane. He was my athletic director there for, I think, 3 years that I was there. So he was always there to guide me. He was always there to keep me out of trouble, pull me out of trouble, but then also just, I can go in his office and put my feet up and, just literally talk to him like I was talking to a father almost, so that was a very good experience.
Nah, definitely having that support system like right
Mm-hmm.
there.
Oh yeah.
Don't hurt he was the AD.
Yeah. Oh yeah, without a doubt. Yeah. I mean, I knew Lance's father since probably when I was a sophomore. Lance was a freshman. So I've known him, a long time.
Yes.
He was always at the games. You see that big beard and the glasses, and I think he even coached basketball at Immaculate Grammar School for a while. So I've known Mr. Boston for a while, but then I think once he left Kane, he actually went on to become an athletic director, I think, in Minnesota.
Yeah, I believe so. I believe so. All this college and football and all, are you thinking about what are you doing post football? Are you, because back then I know some of the options was just obviously you had the NFL. I mean, you had I don't believe, was the USFL. I don't even know if that was
the USFL wasn't down or really around then. I do know that a couple of guys actually had opportunities to go to Europe. And actually, it wasn't an NFL Europe, but Europe was starting to have football teams, So basically, I was approached with the offer of possibly going to Europe or trying out for a team or what have you. But, I really wasn't into that or, thinking about that. So once I was finished school, I was able to get married. That's when I had my first son. But, one of the things is that I've always stayed and had football in my life. Football and sports has always been a big part of my life. But one of my biggest regrets is not being able to actually go back and coach, because if that was something I was able to do, only because, when it came down to it, the money wasn't there, or if it wasn't the money, of course you don't coach for the money, but my job hours weren't there to allow me to be able to coach. You know what I mean? So that's definitely one of the regrets that I did have, that I did not go into high school coaching full time.
Because I believe you did coach when you had the opportunity.
Yes.
I believe my senior year, you were like the freshman coach. If I recall.
Yes, it was your senior year. I was me and Randy Page was the freshman coach at Immaculate, in which back then, I was working in Linden, New Jersey, and I was able to get off in time to basically get to Immaculate to coach or something like that. That was a great experience because, Coach Finn wanted me to coach the freshman team. I was able to coach the defense and, work with the defensive line. And then I was hoping that, down the line, I would be able to transfer and go up to varsity. But what happened was my work schedule didn't fit. So that was definitely one of the biggest regrets that, throughout the course of my life, my work schedule never fit for me to be able to basically go into coaching full time.
Yeah, because coaching, I don't care what level it is, it's a grind.
Oh, yeah.
Grind.
Yeah, it's a grind. You're going to be putting in a lot of hours. You're going to be putting in a lot of time. But, I got married. I have, 3 boys. I have a daughter. Two of my sons played football in high school in Pennsylvania at group 4 schools. My one daughter, she played field hockey and softball and stuff like that during high school. But what I always did, I always make sure I made time that I never missed their Pop Warner games. I never missed their high school games. I attended all my daughter's field hockey or, softball games, her basketball games. I attended all my sons' lacrosse games or football game, wrestling matches. So as a parent, I made sure I made time to never miss their sporting events. I was always at every sporting event. And, I still remember when my son started varsity for the first time, I'm sitting up in the stands crying like a baby. He wore 72, his first year he started. But then once he went to his junior and senior year, he had to branch off, onto his own, and he decided to get his own number, but which I do respect. I do respect that.
Yeah. Now you mentioned the whole dad thing, man. How you probably that demeanor and everything. Obviously, you're not on the field, but it's probably worse as a parent.
Man, I was talking to my son the other day because I went up to Jersey to visit him for my grandson's 3rd birthday. When my kids were in Pop Warner, I had them crabbing up the hills. Crabbing up the hills in Pop Warner. I had them getting the cones out, doing cone drills and stuff like that. Because my one son was a running back, but my other son was a lineman. So I had them, Pop Warner, they were running hills. They were getting the cone drills out. Once they got old enough and stronger, I had them in the gym lifting weights and stuff like that. So a couple of times we had a couple knockdown drag outs, but, it was because it was the summertime, it was hot, and they didn't want to do it, but it paid off, because they all became excellent athletes. They all did well in school, as far as their grades, but, I had them running the hills, crabbing, all the drills we did, I had them out doing the same thing, either from Pop Warner, preparing themselves, getting ready for high school.
How are you doing game day, like with all your kids? I mean, I can only imagine emotions.
I was a mess. I mean, I was a mess, because you're almost out there. You almost feel like you're out there on the field with them. Sometimes you have to be not as critical, because a lot of things that, you've played football, I've played football at very high levels. So a lot of stuff that you can see that they should do or shouldn't be doing or doing better. So you have to learn how not to be critical, but you also have to let them know in a way that they can learn. So next time they can do better or what have you. But I mean, I was a mess. I mean, it was very emotional watching your kids play sports. It's very, very emotional, very emotional.
Nah, I can agree. I have a 7-year-old daughter, so I mean, she's just starting, like, the gymnastics, the cheerleading, and all that. Like I'm a mess. Like even at this level, I'm like, man, I got some years to go. I can only imagine what's going to happen. And I tell the wife, like, this is my stance. And a lot of fathers I know, and I kind of took their style. Like, I'm gonna sit somewhere separate from pretty much everybody, so I can watch. I'm here to watch. I'm not here to socialize. I'm not here to do stuff. They might think I'm rude, but I'm not being rude. I'm just here to see my kid and see her team and her perform.
Yeah, I mean that's how it was. I mean, when my kids, especially playing football, my one son Brandon, he was offensive lineman. He was also he was offensive tackle, and I mean he was in there with the nasties, in there, getting it done. And when you're a lineman and you're down in the trenches and stuff like that, I was always keeping an eye on him, seeing how he was doing and stuff like that, giving him some critiques. My other son was a running back. He played corner. Now, the great thing is that I was never able to win a championship in high school, but they actually won, conference championships, and they were actually win, group and district championships. So I was literally able to live, my high school dreams through them. Because it was great for them to see them win championships and them fight the battles. And, when you're playing in Pennsylvania and you're playing group 4, group 5 football, I mean, you have 6, 7, 8, 10,000 people at a game.
The town shut down.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Everything shut down. And I still remember them coming home, winning the championship. It was a line of 100 cars with the fire trucks and stuff like that, bringing them in and, things like that. So, I mean, it's good times. Real good times. When your daughter start playing sports, man, you're gonna love it. It's gonna be a great time.
Yeah.
Great time.
Yeah, like I said,
Yep.
whatever I can steal from you older parents, I do,
Hmm.
because like I said, I'm a mess now. She's only
Oh
7,
yeah.
so I can only imagine later on. So,
The only
you know,
the biggest thing I can tell you is patience.
hmm
Let her learn. Let her find her way. My daughter went from she was cheerleading,
hmm
and then all she wanted to do was cheerleading. But then her sophomore, junior, senior, she was playing field hockey, she was playing softball, she was playing basketball. So they'll find their way. They'll
nah,
find their way.
definitely.
Yep.
Now in PA, like you mentioned, like sports. I mean, obviously football is practically religion out there.
Hmm.
So I can only imagine, just you just mentioned the 6, 7,000, seat
Hmm.
stadiums filled to capacity, towns shutting down, and I can only imagine the joy you had
Oh yeah.
just watching
Oh
all of
yeah.
them.
Oh yeah. I mean, just watching them, because it starts like, watching them, working out in the summer,
Hmm
watching it, and they even had camps, they even had spring camps and stuff like that. Had the whole team gets together and what have you. And then after that, for the camps and stuff like that, they would go away up in the mountains for 2 or 3 weeks and things like that for team bonding. But just to watch them just go through the fight and go through the struggle and go through the battle, for them to win their, win championships. I mean, it's great. I've been down. I live actually in South Florida now. I've been in South Florida for about 9 years now, and in South Florida, you have Group 7 football. I mean, you have football on TV. I'm talking about you have high school football on Friday nights on TV, and then after the high school football game is over, you literally have the evening news that leads into the high school football games of the year. So I live in West Palm. I'm
Okay.
about an hour north of Miami. So the football down here in Florida. I mean, now you're talking about a different animal now. Different animal.
And that's year round. They
Year
in
round.
pads in the spring,
Yeah,
everything.
year round. They have spring pad practice. Oh yeah. It's a different animal down here, especially when you got 7A football. You're talking about a different animal.
Yeah. Nah, you just seem to find your way around these football states, huh?
Yeah, I love football. I mean, right now, I'm living my life through Madden football. I mean, my son's crushing me at this time right now,
Okay,
but
okay.
I'm living my life through Madden football right now. So it is what it is.
Now, I don't want to be remiss now,
Mm-hmm.
but you still also do the shot put and
Mm-hmm.
all the other stuff like state champion and
Oh
all
yeah.
that, all that
Oh,
other
oh
stuff.
yeah.
So
When
yeah.
I was in high school, my sophomore, junior, and senior year, I threw the shot put. I wasn't good. I wasn't that good at the discus and javelin. I kind of stunk at it. But the shot put, I won county championships in the shot, Essex County championship. My sophomore, junior, senior year, I also won state championships. My junior, senior year, I was able to go to the Jadwin Gym in Princeton to meet the champions and things like that. So I mean, I love the shot put because you're one on one.
So
It's only you're in a circle by yourself. You're one on one, and basically, once you get the ball up and you pop those hips, and I remember Coach Finn telling me you have to yell. I'm like,
mhm.
what are you talking about? You have to yell. He was like, you have to yell. So once you get that shot out, you got to give that yell. And believe it or not, that can actually put a couple feet, on your throat.
Mhm.
But just experience again of going to Princeton, going to the Jadwin Gym, and seeing the best shot putters around the state and immediate champions. Having a chance to compete in that. Having a chance to represent Immaculate as far as Essex County Championship. Because we were okay in running, but when it came to the weight events, we always we dominated, and it was pretty cool because we didn't win the championships in football, but we won plenty of state championships in track and field
Right.
at Immaculate. I mean, we literally own parochial B in track and field at Immaculate.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Even with all that being said, like whether it was the shot put or football, what have you, like
Mm-hmm.
this sports in general,
Oh yeah.
what sports giving you that stuck with you today, that sticks with you to this day? What does it
I
give you?
mean, I think the biggest thing today is the thing I remember the most is the camaraderie.
Okay.
The thing I remember the most is the fellowship. I still remember when I was a freshman year at Immaculate. because we had Box and we had all those guys, Adam Mackley is a freshman year. We went through wedge, regardless of who you were, regardless of how good you were as a freshman, even, you're getting wedgies. I remember, getting wedgies out of Mackley in the field. And it was literally to the point you're going home with no underwear on. And my mother was like, I ain't buying you no more underwear. You know what I mean? So you learn, to take your underwear off and just wear your jock strap and go. But I mean, I think the biggest thing is that the camaraderie, the teamwork, I still remember, like say before you're going to play like a Cedar Grove, and how immaculate when you come out the house,
Yes.
I remember coming out the house and just, it's just the way you feel, when you be going, you're about to go into that game. And I was even joking around with Coach Fenn one day. I said, I don't want to come out the door. Let's come up out the basement. Remember the basement door? I said, let's come up out the basement door one day. But I just think that, even to this day, you build friendships, you build lifelong friendships. I think the one thing that sports teaches you is that you have to work hard. You're not going to be given anything. You can be a 5'9", nose tackle, from Newark who didn't get a chance to play until, he was actually in high school, because most kids are playing Pop Warner now. And if you work hard, you can definitely be successful. But it's the camaraderie and the teamwork and, your teammates. And, it's almost like a family. I think that's the biggest thing I take away from it.
No, absolutely. And we talk about camaraderie and obviously immaculate. I mean, it don't get no better than that. And obviously, I can totally second that. Just being there, and that small little school just produced so many great people. Never mind just athletes, just great people that you can pick up the phone or reach out to, and they'll talk to you. And if you need a solid or something, I mean, they're there for you.
Oh yeah, I mean, especially back then. I know we all knew each other's parents. We all hung out together before the games. We hung out each other's after the games. We always had each other's backs and this and that. So, we all played for each other. So, it was a good time. It was a good time. It was a great experience. I'm happy. I'm blessed with the decision I made to go to Immaculate. We have individuals like you that came after me, and, you're doing a great job as far as what you're doing now. And, you're giving me, an opportunity to remember some, great times in the good old days and things like that. And just like I told my kids tonight, like Al Bundy, I'm going to talk about Polk High.
But
I mean, it's a good time. It's a good time just to relive the good old days and just bring up, just life.
No, definitely. And I think, and I've shared this on many occasions. I think it's one of those things too, like whoever does watch or see, you just never know where people are at in their lives. And I think is like whether, they could be, doing well, doing great, but you got those that are just in the rut on that couch. Like, it ain't over. Get up, get off that couch.
That's
or they
true.
can see some of these interviews or these conversations and just be like, you know what? I was that girl. I was that guy. Like my life ain't over. Let me get to this. Let me get to this. I mean, it had a little rough patch, but let me get up and just kind of move on here. So, so multitude purposes why I do this. So, and like I said, it's been a blast here, but I'm not done with you yet.
Of course not. I got time.
I know you've seen a couple of these, so I'm gonna have some fun here. Like I said, we're gonna put that humble pie to the side just a little bit here. So, my random questions here, we'll just go from there. So,
sure.
Obviously, though you in Florida, you've been in PA, you still somehow make your way back to Jersey here. So, Parkway to Turnpike.
Always the Parkway. I mean, the Turnpike, the Turnpike can be a beast. Always the Parkway.
Okay, yeah, they ain't got the tolls no more neither. So
that's true. That's true.
Nah, definitely. Being a North guy over there, in the Ivy Hills area, South Orange Ave or Stuyvesant.
I would say South Orange Ave. Only reason why, because South Orange Ave, I know more people, and I keep myself more, out of trouble. Definitely South Orange Ave.
Cool. Immaculate or Johnson C. Smith?
You mean Immaculate or Immaculate?
Or Johnson C. Smith?
Oh, you mean Kane University or Johnson C?
No, I said no, Immaculate or Johnson C.
Immaculate.
Immaculate or King?
Immaculate.
Coach Finn or Coach Rassiopi?
Oh. Oh my God. I mean, I don't even know if I can answer that one, honestly, because
That's fair. Hmm.
I know Coach Finn used to literally come by my house and pick me up for track meets, and I'm sitting there riding around that on that red convertible, but I love Coach Lou
Hmm.
because Coach Lou made me into the person I was. So I would say that's a tie. That's tough.
That's fair.
That's a
That's totally
tie.
fair. But I remember, as far as talking to you, you said you had a Coach Lou story. You remember? I don't know if you remember.
I do have a Coach Lou story. I remember one time, it was my sophomore year in practice, and for whatever reason, we weren't practicing and we weren't doing what we need to do. So I remember Coach Lou literally came around and kicked every single lineman in the butt.
Mm.
I mean, literally, you were in your stance, and he came and kicked every lineman in the butt. And then after that, he was like, "Coach, you take him. I'm going home." So the next thing you know,
Oh,
we
he
had to
left.
go.
He
Oh,
left.
he left. Oh, he left. He left practice. He left practice. But I remember plenty of times with Coach Lou. You mess up and you jump off sides. You got to take a lap or two. Being grabbed by the face mask and dragged around the field, or whatever the situation is. But it was good times though, real good times. Or I remember with Coach Lou, as a freshman, going up and practicing with the varsity, they would tell you to go up and get the steam machine. Go upstairs to get the steam machine. So you're like, steam machine. So you're literally upstairs, up in the attic, like 20 minutes looking for a steam machine. And then you come back on the field and everybody's cracking up laughing because there's no such thing as a steam machine.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as a steam machine.
Nah, that's funny.
Yeah.
And then you mentioned some of the stuff they did, like we didn't care. Like, I mean, if that's where we got kicked in the butt, literally, or
Mm-hmm.
face mask, they
Right.
twisted it and bended. Like,
Mm-hmm.
we just wore that and just came back the next day and wanted
Oh
to
yeah.
be better. Versus,
Oh yeah.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
crazy
yeah,
now.
yeah. I think with the message that Coach Lou was sending us, it wasn't like a hard kick, nothing like that. But
Right.
basically, what he was trying to tell you is that if you guys are gonna sit here and mess around, I'm not gonna waste my time. I can be with my family. I'm gonna go home and then I'm out of here. You know what I mean? But he treated us like men.
Yeah.
And then the next day, believe me when I tell you, we did not make those mistakes the next day.
Mhm.
Trust me when I tell you.
Oh no, I believe it. I believe
Mm-hmm.
it. At any
Yep.
level here, at any level, best game you ever played in your life.
Uh,
If something sticks out.
I would have to say it's the North-South game. The only
Okay.
reason I
Yeah.
say it's a North-South game is that I was going up against defensive Division I linemen. I was going up against Jared Johnson from Seton Hall. He went to play for Lehigh. He even spent some time with Steelers. I played against Melvin Evans. One of my best friends, God rest his soul. He went to Texas, in which I was still. He passed away a couple years ago, but I would literally talk to Melvin at least once or twice a week. He actually went on to play for the Dallas Cowboys. He never started for him, but he actually got 3 rings from the Cowboys. So I think my biggest accomplishment or the greatest game I had was playing the North-South game at Rutgers, because all across that offensive line, you had all Division I prospects. And then by the time that game was over, I knew I belonged. Regardless of my height, I knew I belonged.
And how about even the practices during it? Like, I'm sure those are intense too.
We had our coach was the coach of Union. I think was Coach Ritigliano.
Oh, you talk about Coach Lou Rutino.
Coach Lou Rutino. Yeah, we had the coach from Union. And I tell you, when you have practices with people you don't know, people you've never met before from all different walks of life, and then everybody there knowing that you're going to have Division I people at the game, knowing you're playing at Rutgers, knowing it's going to be a big crowd. I mean, those practices were like college practices. I mean, they were real deal. So the practices were very competitive. You were given no promises. You had to go there and work your butt off, and whatever you earned or the way you practiced, that's how you learn you were going to either play or you're going to be literally sitting on that bench the entire game.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Nah, sound like a great time, man.
Oh yeah.
Sound like a great time.
Oh yeah. That was a good time because we was on campus. When you get guys on a college campus, we're running up and down the halls and toilet paper and things and hanging out and this and that. I actually played against Cory Booker. Cory Booker actually played on the South team. I actually played with Tony Kennedy from Elizabeth. He wound up going to Clemson. I played with a lot of good guys who played in that game who actually spent a year or two in the pros or had trials with the pros. So that was a great time, real good time. Yep.
Is there a game you like to have back?
You almost brought a tear to my eye just now.
Yeah.
There's two games I want to bring back. First of all, Cedar Grove.
Okay.
Never in my high school career have I ever beat Cedar Grove.
Okay.
Cedar Grove to me was one of the worst nemesis we've ever had because for whatever reason I can never beat Cedar Grove my sophomore, junior, or senior year, and then also the game against Whippany, in which we lost to Whippany Park. But if we would have beat Whippany Park, we would have made it to the playoffs, to state playoffs. So back then, you can only have 2, maybe 3 losses. Probably if you had 2 losses, you weren't going to make the playoffs. And when we lost to Whippany, that was our 3rd loss. So, being able to beat Cedar Grove at least once and then taking back that game against Whippany, that would have been a taste of the playoffs.
Well, now that Whippany game, was that the one y'all had to fight?
That was a game at Whippany that we had to fight.
The fight was at the end of the game, or was it during?
No, it was almost the 4th quarter. It was probably like maybe about 5 minutes left in the game. Okay. But I do know it was it was a bench clearing brawl. Mm-hmm. It was I think the fight might have started on this side of the field. It was a bench clearing brawl. I mean, you had police there, you had parents there, but it was a type of fight that just wouldn't stop, And then I remember that Monday coming in, you know how you watch films every Monday. So basically we were watching film in a Whippany game. Everybody wanted to see the fight, So then basically they literally cut the film, right before the fight started. And then after that, they basically, that was it. They just cut it. But that was a hum. That was a bench clearing. That was a humdinger. Because I remember Coach Fest was telling you, that was one of the worst situations he saw. That was a Malice in the Palace high school style, without a doubt.
It sound like it, especially because you said it was out there in Whippany too, right?
Oh yeah, it was in Whippany. We knew if we won, we went to the playoffs. It was basically getting down to the last few minutes in the game, and you know how games get chippy.
Yes.
And then if it's to the point that if the refs start letting things go, or the refs start letting people start to hit late on the sidelines or near the sidelines, but it just got really chippy. But then after that, it just literally exploded with probably 5 minutes to go in the game.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, it sounded like that was crazy, and it went down.
Oh yeah. It is what it is. It happens in sports, but it was. Luckily, I didn't get suspended. For the next game, I do know a couple players got suspended for the next game, or they might have had to sit out like the first half of the next game, and things like that. But it's a part of sports. I'm not condoning violence and fighting and stuff like that. But when games get chippy, and when you have a lot on the line, right, sometimes things like that gets a little bit out of hand.
Yeah.
So
now, somebody or someone who should have made it, whether it's college, the pros, or whatever the case may be, it could be someone you grew up with, high school, however you want to define it. Somebody who should have made it.
Looking back, to me, someone who should have made it is Jimmy Golden. I think Jimmy Golden. Are you familiar with Jimmy?
And actually, when you mentioned him when you first got on here, I was going to ask you got to connect me with him because I was trying to find him.
Okay, yeah, I know Jimmy Golden. Basically, he was one of the best running backs I've seen hands down at Immaculate. Yeah. He was a tough runner. He was a strong runner. He was a type of runner who would always fight for extra yards. Jimmy had a lot of Division I scholarships that he could have had. I know, he was being recruited by the Florida States and things like that. But I do know Jimmy Golden, to me, was one of the best or the toughest running backs I think we definitely had at Immaculate, hands down.
Yeah. Now, like I said, I've been trying to flag him down, so I love to talk to him.
Yeah. You'll have a good time with Jimmy, and plus, I used to always go to Jimmy's house, and we used to always hang out, and we used to go to Pagano's and eat our double Italian cheeseburgers, and so yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah, definitely. Now, you the best to ever come out of Immaculate?
That's a great question. I think I'm one of the best defensive linemen to ever come out of Immaculate. I think if I was 6'2", I think I would have been, not trying to be cocky. I think I would have been one of the best coming out of Immaculate if I was 6'2". But I do think I think I was one of the best defensive linemen to ever play for Immaculate, without a doubt.
And interesting, you mentioned the 6'2". They talk about Big Troy here. He's like Tyrone 2.0 here. Troy Austin, if you're familiar with Troy. Yeah, later on, I think he came a little bit after me. He wound up winning the state championship, and I know Troy got to be about 6'2", I think. 6'2",
Okay.
6'3". Yeah, he wound up going down to Duke or what have you.
Okay.
They always just said, like, I remember talking to Coach Joe Carrington, one of the twins.
Right.
It's like, if Tyrone had Troy's height, he'd be the same player or even better.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the funny thing about it was that when I used to meet coaches or talk to coaches like Division I coaches, the first thing they always say to me is that you look a lot bigger on film than you were in person. Okay. And I know that, I used to someday wear like combat boots or, do what I had to do just to make myself, be a little bit taller. And I always gave them the excuse of Jim Burt. I remember one day I met Jim Burt. He played at the University of Miami. And I literally looked Jim Burt eye to eye. So I mean, Jim Burt's probably 5'10", if pushing it 5'10", but I don't regret, I can only work with what I have, but if I was 6'2", even 6'1", I definitely think it would be a different story. That definitely be a different story.
No, definitely. Best, your top 5 football players from Immaculate.
The top 5 football players, I think, I'm not going to put them in any type of order.
No order.
I definitely think, I think the Hackett's in general,
Which one?
Yeah, exactly. I think, I didn't really get a chance to see Marcus, but I did play with, the other, I can't even think of his name, 87. I can't even think of his name. I can see his face. He went to Brown.
Is that Merlin? I'm not sure.
Yeah, Merlin. Yeah, I think Merlin Hackett. I think the running back who played there, Kevin Williams, he was a very good player. I also think that Jimmy Golden, I would have to definitely put him in that class. And then after that, I think you had like the Lance Boston's, Ben Sermons. I think those are like 2 and 1 almost. So pretty much. And then plus, you had like a lot of garbage pail, like hard workers, like a Donald McDaniel, the type of person that he was never the fastest, he was never the biggest, but I mean, he would lay a hammer on you, So I definitely think those are some players who stood out at Immaculate.
You don't put yourself in that 5?
I mean, I don't want to, I would put myself in that 5, but I'm gonna, I just thought you meant, that in general, but I would put myself in that 5 without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Best teammate, whether high school, college, what have you? Anybody come to mind?
Best teammate. That's a tough question. I say the class of '87.
Just the whole class, yeah.
The whole class of '87. The whole class of '87. That was the best teammates because I think that we were a close knit group. We were almost a family. So I would definitely say the class of '87 was my best teammate.
Yeah. Speaking of the best, what's the best part about being Tyrone Mason?
The best part about being Tyrone Mason now is being a grandfather. I think that just having a chance to watch your kids grow up. I think having a chance to watch your kids become productive adults, watch them become great parents, and now to become a grandfather, and then just to watch little ones, who is a part of you, a part of your blood, a part of your heritage. I think the best thing right now is definitely being a grandfather, without a doubt.
Yeah. Yep. You feel you got your just due?
I think so. I was, I think, I was inducted to the Immaculate, Sports Hall of Fame, which I was very happy about. I played in the North-South game, which I was happy about. My senior year, I made All-State.
Yeah.
I was able to get a scholarship to go to college.
Hmm.
I think at 5'9", being able to do that at defensive tackle, I think my senior year I had close to 20 sacks, my senior year. And I think I got my just due. I
Yeah.
think that, I think so. I think, but the best thing about it is that I worked to become everything that I was. I wasn't handed anything.
That's right.
I went there to Immaculate. Nobody knew me. I wasn't part of a family. I wasn't part of a family lineage or nothing like that. I was never promised to start. I was never promised anything. And, I just had to go there and work my ass off and work my butt off. And that was it, that's the story.
What advice would this Tyrone give that senior year Tyrone? What advice would you give him?
Uh, don't party too much. Focus more on your grades.
Mm-hmm.
Slow down more as far as making decisions.
Mm-hmm.
And I should have sat back and smelled the roses a little bit too more,
Okay.
a little bit more, because you're going through, I think I kind of rushed everything a little bit too much. So I would definitely say, don't party too much my senior year, which I had a great time. I should have focused a little bit more on my grades. I didn't have the best SAT score. And then I should have basically just took things a little bit slower, and just let things come to me instead of me being aggressive and trying to, go after certain things. But yeah, definitely I should have been a little more patience,
Now, this might get you in trouble with your kids here, but the best athlete, yourself or your kids? Who's the better athlete out of all of y'all?
Hands down, I tell my kids all the time. I'm the better athlete than them. Just like I told my son, I'm 52 years old.
Mm-hmm.
We can go in the backyard right now. We can do some pass rushing drills, But yeah, oh yeah, without a doubt. I think my one son, Brandon, he's about 6'2".
Okay.
And he played offensive tackle in high school. He was all conference and that. The only thing he lacked was a little nastiness. He had the size, but if he had the nastiness that I had, because I was a nasty player. Nasty player. And my biggest thing is that I hated to lose more than I love to win. Mm-hmm. So basically, when I was playing football, every team I played, I hated every team I played. It was no like, it was no love. It was straight hate, Mm-hmm. And when I went out in the field, I played with hate. And, so I just think that, you have to have that hate. You have to have that anger. But yeah, I tell them all the time, I think I was a better athlete than them, without a doubt.
Even your baby girl?
Come on, no, I can't go against my baby girl. No, I can't. No, I can't go against my baby girl. But yeah. It's different when you have three boys, because when you have three boys, you guys gonna butt heads. You're gonna, knock them upside the head. You guys gonna, you know how when you have boys, when they get older, they start to smell themselves, and I'm taller than dad, and what have you. So it's different when you raise boys. But when you're raising a little daughter, you spoil her to death. You let her get away with murder, and so she's probably a better athlete than I am. My boy's gonna hate to hear that, but yeah, she's a better athlete.
Smart answer.
Yep.
Tyrone, like I mentioned to you right from the beginning, man. Like I said, me ended up at Immaculate, how I ended up there. But when I got there, or just even hearing stories beforehand, because in my complex, in his some names, you had the Mark Hardaways, the Kelvin Trotters. Mm-hmm. These guys was, on the Lee Mullins, they were all in my complex as far mm-hmm. as, going to Immaculate. But just hearing stories, just how, you mentioned, just how vicious you were, and just how you played the game hard. But that came with the work behind the scenes that, mm-hmm. Sometimes we forget. That's how a lot of us got mm-hmm. there. So, that bar you just had like crazy high. And I knew there was no way I could ever reach it, but I was like, damn, I'm gonna try though. And like mm-hmm. I said, and then even for you to be like a freshman coach, as I mentioned earlier, I would look down while I'm practicing, like, damn, that's Tyrone Mason here. Mm-hmm. Like to say that to myself here, just like I said, just complete all. Just mm-hmm. kind of, what you've done or what have you here, but to even sit here and talk to you, sports can go out the window. You're a great guy. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That is kind of how I feel. But we're Immaculate people, so that I won't expect anything different. So I just want to say you being officially, believe me, one way or another, I try to be officially me one way or another here. Like I said, that bar is high and it's still up there. I know I never achieved it, attained it, but I gave it a shot here. But I just want
Mhm.
to say, like, you're revered by me. Like I said, just to get you on here and to talk to you and just hear some of these stories here. Like, I thank you so much.
Hey, I just want to say that, first of all, I really appreciate you giving me the time. I really appreciate you giving me the time to go back and, just go back in the vault a little bit and, just kind of sit back, on a Thursday night, and think about, what I did from, Pop Warner, going up through Immaculate. I think that, and all you try to do in life is just do your best, and just for you to even say that, to me, that's very much appreciated. But again, I just want to say thank you. I really appreciate the work that you do. I watch all your interviews, that you do. Not only
Yeah.
that, sometimes I even share them,
Mm,
especially when you get the coaches on, you get the former players on, you have me, cracking up because I think about all the memories. Of course, we can't share everything because,
right.
some of the stuff is, you shouldn't share. But hey, I just want to say you're doing an amazing job and, you just keep it up. And, once that, little girl gets a little bit older, let her decide the way she wants to go. And, you being a great dad, she's not going to make a mistake.
Nah, appreciate it. Nah, thank you. And
Mm-hmm.
it's a small world. Enjoy Florida. I was thinking you still in PA.
Mm-hmm.
So
Oh yeah, yeah. I've been in Florida about 9 years now.
okay.
The one thing I always wanted to do was move to Florida. I
Hmm.
got tired of the cold weather. I got tired of shoveling the snow. As you get older, you want to be around the palm trees a little bit. I live 10 minutes from the beach, and no more sitting in traffic all day. Going back and forth to work, and so it was a great move. It was definitely a very good move. But I try to get up north as much as I can. I was up there this weekend, got my White Castles, got my Jimmy Buffs, So other than
Yeah.
that, yeah, it's good though.
Nah, definitely. And I wish you good continued health here, man. I'm glad you turned the corner and you feeling better. And like I said, I just wish you all best health in the world, you and your family here.
Hey, thank you very much. Appreciate it, man.
Likewise, Tyrone, we'll
All right.
talk.
All right, my man. One love.
All
Thank
right,
you.
back at
All
you.
right.
Peace.
All right, bye. Mhm.
Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. Like I mentioned to him, like I said, he set that bar for me. Like I said, don't think I achieved it or whatever, but like I said, I gave it a shot. But I knew him and countless others, whether it was sports or just being, students, staff, faculty, whatever at Immaculate, just tried to emulate him or do something, close to him here. So I'm really, really, blessed to just had Tyrone him. So nothing else to say. Be honest with you, just gonna slide out on that. I put my hand over my heart. That means I feel you. Yeah.